Gabe Elton and Austin Rare Coins and Bullion have supported Wide Awake News since our beginning, and with everybody and their brother out there selling precious metals these days, Austin Rare Coin and Bullion's integrity and trustworthiness are truly second to none. If you're looking for honest advice in growing or protecting your wealth with precious metals, please do what so many Wide Awake News listeners have already done. Call Gabe Elton at Austin Rare Coins and Bullion, 800-928-6468, or visit him online, austincoins.com. Please, let's support those who support truth in independent media.
Talk about everything from false flag attacks to staged events that are going to be broadcast tonight. We'll talk about Obama's speech here in a little bit. Talk about Syria, talk about Russia, talk about gold, talk about silver. We've got an hour to do it, so let me bring on our guest, Gabe Elton, Austin Rare Coins and Bullion. They've been with Wide Awake News since we began doing this little number here, and I greatly appreciate that. Gabe Elton, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me, Charlie. It's always a big pleasure to come on, and always nice to talk to you.
Always nice to talk to you, Gabe Elton. I was kidding about the beer drinking, unless you were going to do it.
Well, no. I mean, I'm sitting here right now looking at drink tickets for the UT game and Ole Miss game that I'm giving out to some of the sales guys. So we do like to enjoy a beverage from time to time.
That is, wait a minute, you're giving to your sales guys as like spiffs or what?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, it was given to us by someone that we advertised with. We had 6 tickets to the UT game and some drink tickets and free meal tickets and stuff like that. So I had 6 of those to hand out. Right. In fact, that's why you probably rang a few more times than you had expected before I was able to pick up.
Are you in the office right now?
Yeah.
So like right behind you is a giant vault filled with gold eagles.
That would be across the office, but yeah, definitely. It's a place that I don't even get to see often.
It smells like money.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing. It's kind of interesting because you're in a business that obviously you have a sales staff. You're the sales manager for Austin Rare Coins and Bullion, but I talk to my day job. What I do during office hours is this building material commodities wholesale, and I talk to different people through the program, through the website. Then I talk to different people through my day job, and it's really interesting to see how spiffs and tchotchkes and the same kind of tools are used across the board if it's in the realm of sales or marketing. We do that too. I mean, we take some of our bigger customers. Sometimes we take them to Hawaii because you got to grease the wheels, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. No doubt about it.
All right. Well, let's get into some news here. And for those listening and in chat, I talked to Gabe a little bit and said we're going to kind of be all over the board tonight. We're certainly going to touch on precious metals. Matter of fact, I'm recording this for YouTube, and I'm holding up my last purchase from you, which is this awesome koala. And I want some more of them. I just, they're not cheap, but they're really, really cool, Gabe. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say they actually are kind of cheap. I mean, if you compare them to anything else, that we were offering those for like $1.79 over spot, and I don't know how many nationally minted coins that anybody can sell at that particular price right now. So it was a good price.
Wait a minute, are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
No, I can hear you. I mean, is the price still there? $1.70?
Well, the price has moved up and down with silver, but as far as the amount of $1.79 over spot, that's still very doable. And in fact, right before I got on the program today, I ran across another deal that we're going to start heavily promoting, which are some half-ounce Year of the Horse from the Australian Perth Mint, and I can get those at a phenomenal price too. In fact, I've looked all over the internet to see who might have them for less than us, and I haven't found anyone yet. So we're about to roll that out pretty soon.
What is that going to be over?
They're expensive. I mean, when I say we have them for less than anyone else, in relative terms, to get a fractional silver coin, you're always going to pay a higher premium because of the minting fee.
Right.
We've got them for $17 a piece to your clients. We're starting them at $17.50 for everyone else. $17 a piece for your clients, and that you're paying $34 an ounce, but go and try to find a half-ounce silver coin for less. And for what a lot of your listeners are doing and a lot of our clients are doing is they're preparing for an all-out, complete, and total collapse, in which case a fractional silver coin minted by a famous mint like the Australian Perth mint would, I think, be very handy in such a situation.
Okay, let me ask you, $17 a piece. How are they coming? Because I want to buy some of them. Those sound cool.
Great question. They come in rolls of 20.
Okay.
And those rolls of 20 come inside of a box of 100 that goes into a case of 500. But the people who are buying cases of Silver Eagles and stuff, they're paying about $14,000-$15,000 at the moment.
Right.
You can get a case of these for $8,500 or so. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I laugh because it sounded like you were talking about Russian dolls.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it sounds like, and that's sort of exciting to me too, because we haven't actually received them yet, but we have secured the deal, and I'm interested to see what it looks like as far as an entire case, how they come packaged.
So we're $340 a tube basically for Wide Awake News listeners. At 17,
that's right.
$17 a piece. Okay.
And I gotta say, man, I've looked everywhere. I haven't found them for less.
Well, you just sold some because I'm going to buy some from you because I have nothing that is half ounce. I have no half ounce silver. Matter of fact, who else has it? I mean, what other mint makes a half ounce?
We've had the Valcombi bars, which is a 100-gram bar that can be broken into 1-gram pieces. We have those in silver. We never really have promoted them much because they are expensive, but we think in this particular case, with the half-ounce coin, it would make a whole lot of sense. The only other half-ounce silver coin that I've seen made by a national mint were Canadian canoes, and they carried such a premium that it was ridiculous. Like, we didn't even promote them because we thought they were too expensive. In this particular case, it just makes sense.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I want to get I'll get a couple. Let's see. I'm checking the checkbook right now. I'll get some of them, at least a tube of them. I want to check them out. Those sound really cool. And I was talking to you before the program, and I said on air that I want some more of these koalas, but I guess I'll have both extremes now from you. The last one.
Both are still good. I mean, the koalas are still good price, and I was just going to mention we're kind of doing this backwards today, starting with the promotion, but I'm just as interested to talk about the news as well. Well,
we're probably not done talking about the different promotion, talking about the website. But, and one thing that you said last time you were on the program, and I want to, there's two things that I want to really drive home during this program for Austin Rare Coins and Bullion, which, by the way, here's another good news I got to give you, Gabe. As you can tell, it's a little bit looser format during the daytime. We're going to have a conversation, and it's going to go where it's going to go. And I think it's a lot easier to listen to, and we can talk about what we want to talk about. We're not going to just slam right into news. But one thing that helps facilitate that is we don't have the middle break anymore. So usually about a minute and a half ago, we'd be on our first break. We won't have the first one out until 27 minutes after. So only 2 breaks to deal with. That'll give us more time to talk about the things that you and I want to talk about, which I want to talk about hunting a little bit because it's coming up.
That's right.
Real quick, are you heading this way?
Yeah, in October, and the more and more videos I see about Montana, heck, I might be going all the way to Montana soon, but I'm going to Colorado on the first part of October, and really looking forward to that. I tell you, I learned a lot the last time that I was there because everything that you have is on your back. And, most people think of an elk hunt, they think of being taken out with a guide or going up with the horses. What we do is we put everything that we are going to need for the next 7 to 9 days on our back and take off out into the mountains. And it's taught me a lot, especially about survival in general. You have all of these so-called survivalists, and I include myself in that group, who have been getting storable food.
Yeah.
All of us have the bug out bags. All of us have this and have that. But one thing that I never paid attention to until I headed off into the mountains for 9 days with everything I needed on my back was how much everything weighs.
Yeah.
And, I tell you, a lot of preppers are going to be severely disappointed whenever they've purchased all of these products to help them get through this particular time, and whenever they need to bug out and put it on their back, they're going to realize that they're not going to make it down the block. And I figured that out, and it was pretty expensive to get set up. But over the last 12 months, I spent 12 months preparing for a hunting trip that also has a dual use of preparing for a complete and total collapse. Now, I now know that I can put everything I need on my back and head out, and I can handle it without everything being way overweight and too bulky.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you had mentioned to me before, you saw that video I did just a couple, where we just did a couple nights or a couple days out, where we pretended, we had the scenario getting home and a disaster. I grew up in Montana. I grew up hunting in the outdoors. I was in the military, so I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a real, I think, disconnect with a lot of people who are looking at a breakdown crisis scenario. And if you really want to see what that's all about, I mean, you can look at what happened during the hurricane in New York, during the hurricane in Katrina. These disasters that leave people disconnected completely from the modern conveniences of life alone. And that's not even talking about if you had to bug out in some scenario. You start to realize on a hunting trip, especially if you're not doing it with four-wheelers or horses or anything like that, and you're just using the old Shanks mare, which are your feet. It's a lot of work, man. And all of a sudden, 2 miles, even in flat country in Texas, where you're a couple miles, is quite a journey. Especially,
yes.
It is not inconceivable to me it is inconceivable to me that a real 72-hour bug out bag, if you're preparing to get out of Dodge, to get out of your work environment, your home environment because of crisis, that thing is going to weigh, what, Gabe? A minimum 30, 40 pounds?
At least, I mean, because if you, and it depends on how comfortable you plan on being, but in several cases, I had what I considered a top-notch sleeping pad, and it was so big and bulky and heavy. I replaced it this year with a much more expensive one, but it's so much smaller and so much lighter, and I probably trimmed 6 or 7 pounds off my pack from last year to this year. And I'm probably more prepared this year than I was last year. And it's just an interesting point where, just your sleep system and your shelter is running, 12 pounds, where a lot of these backpack hunters, they have sleep systems and shelters that weigh less than 3 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I haven't gone there yet because they're just using a tarp and trekking poles as their tarp poles to set up a shelter. But you learn a lot. You learn a lot that I wouldn't have known had I not done this in the first place.
That's right. And the thing I was thinking of is I've had people from flat land come up here and just hiking in hilly terrain. Doesn't have to be mountainous like Colorado or Montana, but just hilly terrain. Your muscles aren't used to that. So downhill, your quads are killing you the next day. Uphill, your calves and your hamstrings are killing you the next day. It's a good thing that you're doing that. Not to mention, I don't think you shot anything, you were telling me last year.
Nope.
But this year, I haven't went out and shot an animal in probably 10 years, except for pheasants and stuff like that. Not big game. But going to the grocery store, seeing the garbage, and just talking about GMO for the last couple of years. This year, I told my son, that's it. We're going to go out and we're going to shoot a couple white-tailed does and put them in the freezer because you're just not going to get better meat than that.
That's exactly right. And, down here we have Whole Foods in Austin, but even those guys are accepting GMOs. And by the time you pay their prices, you could get a couple of elk that will feed you for, a year or more, really. And it's all organic.
Yeah, I hope you do get some elk because elk is the premium. I mean, that's the best meat.
I'm looking forward to it, no doubt.
Well, go kill something, but before you do, sell me some tubes of the half ounce. You said Perth mint? What's on it?
They're the Year of the Horse, which is pretty cool. They do a lunar calendar, and by the way, these things, I'm not representing them as such, but they turn into collector coins. Last year, when they had their lunar coin, it lasted for first 3 months of the year. These are 2014s, okay? So I would expect by the end of March of next year that these will be completely sold out. It's not like they mint them all year long. They're only available for a short amount of time.
Gabe, you've been supporting us since 2009, and I've never heard you talk about them. I've never seen them on your site. I've never seen them, period.
Well, you're exactly right. I've always looked for fractional silver coins because people ask about them all the time. I just couldn't ever find one that made sense. And I told you about the Canadian canoes. I found those last year sometime, and we were thinking about doing a promotion on those, but by the time we looked at the price, it just didn't make sense. In this particular case, it does make sense, and any time that we can offer a coin for less than what you're going to be able to find it anywhere else, then we want to let people know about that. And in this particular case, I've checked around as much as I could, and I haven't seen anybody out there for less.
That brings me to a point that I want to make, because it's something you and I have talked about, and I understand it because I'm in business, and there's something to be said for service over price. The box store mentality, regardless if it's retail or lumber or whatever, is pervasive. And everybody that can get in front of a camera or get on the internet or get in a magazine or newspaper for advertising, it's always, they're just pushing price. But the more I listen to the stories that you tell me about, and listen to the stories that your customers, I'm thinking of a couple right now. One of them is probably in the chat room. The other one I got off the phone with here a little bit ago in California. There is something to be said that we never talk about, which is like these Aussie fractional silver. There is an aspect of you're going to not only have the silver, but it's because of its rarity is going to go up in value. My problem is I don't think that way in precious metals, because it's just I want it here, and I want it, I want to store some wealth in something I believe in. But I need to think about that once in a while, which is scarcity. Go ahead.
You're exactly right. I have a client that was having trouble understanding this recently, and it was about a totally different product that's much more numismatic, so to speak, than it is bullion. But he was saying, I just don't see the excitement about this particular coin, and I agreed with him, and I said, well, neither do I. But the exciting thing is to be able to make 300% off of people who do care about those things.
Right.
You and me and your listeners could care less about numismatic items. You might could care less about collectible items, but that doesn't mean that there aren't a ton of other people out there who do. In which case, people like us who understand this particular market can pick up certain types of coins, later on sell them to collectors, and double or triple your metals holdings. And that's what we're all interested in.
Yeah, and that's the point. Yeah, you're right. I like looking at coins. I like the numismatic aspect that comes with some of these coins, but it's not my main driver. But if I'd have picked up some of these 2 years ago, if I picked up 500 ounces, I might have 1,000 now. We're going to be back with Gabe.
That's right.
Yeah, we're going to be back with Gabe Elton of Austin Rare Coins and Bullion in just a minute. Please hang tight.